Jodie Davis.
Jodie Davis. Do you want to address us on the first issue, is it? Which is, does Bashams have a duty to act compatibly?
Would you like, my lord, if I begin with a summary of the case? Or?
If you like, yeah.
Okay. Good evening, my lords. Eiley Counsel Jodie Davis, act on behalf of Billy Bunter, the appellant. My learned friend, Miss Leanne Farmer, will act as junior counsel. A summary of the case. Billy Bunter is a sixth form student at St Basham School, which is a private boarding school in Surrey. However, Billy does attend the school under the government's assisted places scheme. The pupils and parents agree to be bound by the statutes of the school, and that any decision of the headmaster is to be considered final and not subject to appeal. Billy wrote an article in the school magazine which he stated that Mr. Wacker, the headmaster, was incompetent at running the school and suggested that he gained pleasure from caning the boys, in particular the younger ones. Mr. Wacker took the article as a show of insubordination and informed Billy of his intention to give him 4 strokes at the assembly the following day. At this point, Billy contacted his lawyer, who communicated to Mr. Wacker an intention to apply for an injunction. As a result of this, Mr. Wacker stated that he would be expelling Billy Bunter on a permanent basis from the school. The following day, representatives of Billy Bunter applied to Guildford District Registry that Billy should be reinstated into the school and Mr. Wacker be restrained from caning Billy or using any form of discipline in relation to the magazine article. Mr. Justice Oldschool dismissed the application based upon the school's status, and he stated that it was not a public authority within the meaning of Section 6 of the Act, and so had no obligation to the Act in a manner that is compatible with the Convention, and as such the court could not intervene. We now submit to you, my lords, that Mr. Justice Oldschool was wrong to state that St Batham's is not a public authority within the meaning of Section 6 of the Human Rights Act 1998, and the court itself is a public authority and should in any case intervene to safeguard Billy Bunter's conventional rights. If it pleases you lords, I may now begin with my first submission.
Yes, please.
Is my lords familiar with the case of Aston, which you will find in your bundle under Appendix 2, or would you like a summary?
We're aware of it, but summarise.
Okay. The defendants were the freehold owners of former rectorial land and consequently were liable at common law to repair the chancel of their parish church. In September 1994, the plaintiff, the Parochial Church Council, served the first defendant with a notice under Section 2, subsection 1 of the Chancel Repair Act 1932, calling upon them to repair the chancel. They disputed this, as subsequently brought proceedings against the defendant pursuant to Section 2, subsection 2 of the 1932 Act, to recover the cost of the chancel repairs. The case of Aston outlines what is a hybrid public authority. Whilst the case does...
Perhaps you could just put the relevance of that case into this, because obviously we're short on time.
Yes, of course I can, if I may. Obviously the case does not support our position would wish to prove, but it does give clear guidance on a public authority in the sense of core and hybrid. It was held that there are 4 criteria, and any one of which an organisation has to meet before it could be considered a hybrid public authority, as per Lord Nichols of Birkenhead in Orbiter, which you will find in your bundle, Appendix 2, page 4, at paragraph 12. If I may, you lords, may I read out the 4 criteria?
Yes, and as you do, if you could just give us how it's relevant to this case, with each one of them as you go.
Yeah. The criteria 1, that the organisation is publicly funded. We argue that St Basham's is publicly funded. In particular, Billy Bunter is on a publicly funded placement, with the monies being paid for by the local education authority.
He is, but is the school
Yes.
publicly funded?
The school as a whole is not publicly funded, however,
Mm.
Billy is currently publicly
Right.
funded at the
Yeah.
school.
Okay, go ahead.
Therefore, we argue that it is used and treated as funding. Further, that the school is taking the place of the local government, specifically the local education authority, on the part of Billy, as his attendance was funded by the local government and so takes their place for the purpose of educating Billy Bunter. Also,
Just going back to that point, in terms of it being a publicly funded school, as I understand it, it's self-regulated, isn't it, the school?
yes,
So is it in any way under the direction of the council or any local authority
no,
or governmental body?
no, it's not.
And is it privately owned land that the school is based on?
I believe it is.
Yes, go ahead.
Also submitted is that the school is providing a public service. Appendix 2, page 5, paragraph 16 of your bundle. If I may, read from Lord Nichols of Birkenhead. If that pleases the Lord.
We'll get there, carry on, go on.
What matters is whether the particular act done by the plaintiff counsel of which complaint is made is a private act as contrasted with the discharge of a public function. Now this is a crucial point for St Bashams, in which it is clear that the function of St Bashams is to provide education, a fundamental